Hello, everyone. My name is CyberJ112, and welcome to Flannel Legacies. As always, I am joined here with my buddy Garwin Kazul, and boy, do we have a controversial topic to talk about today, don't we, Garwin?
Oh, indeed. Though I will
So,
admit, I always find it hilarious the hypocrisy in people's what they choose to be offended by.
oh yes, and today that hypocrisy is probably going to be shown in me more
Nope,
than
I don't
anyone.
think.
Oh, totally, because I am a fairly biased individual when it comes to this topic.
Mm.
And for those of you who can't stand suspense or anything, or haven't read the fucking title of this video, we're talking about the morality of farm versus gathering. So, originally, long ago, hold on, Jay's, like, Teacher Jay is coming out for a
Oh
second.
boy.
Uh, we used to be a hunter-gatherer society before, we were freaking awesome and could do crap that was, halfway decent. Before we discovered, the great and wonderful thing called metal or seeds. When we discovered bowls and rocks and metal and seeds, we then changed from being hunter and gatherers to farming steady civilizations. Of course, you still have hunters, you still have farmers, you still have gatherers everywhere in the world today. The difference now is that we have 7 billion people on the planet and we have to feed them somehow.
Yeah.
So, this is where morality and efficiency clash.
Yeah.
Because what is the most efficient way to produce a lot of food? Well, the ecological activists, which, by the way, very recently, in England, a activist dumped human remains, fecal matter, urine, and other body fluids
Seriously, another one?
upon a World War II veteran statue who died in 2021, who raised over, I believe, £5 million, was it? For charities
Mm.
that were going to relief efforts. Now, of course, that is from what I understood of the article that I read. And this activist was then saying, like, they were the ecological, like, activists that normally say, well, I'm protesting, and this was an active thing against jet fuel and jet planes and planes in general. We need to get rid of it because private jets
Then dump the
every
human remains at the airport.
or just freaking actually get people or sign a petition, get people to petition to airports to make it to where private jets can no longer be quote unquote private
Yeah, like that's the
and
proper
act.
way to do it. But when it comes to these types of people, you know they're not gonna do the proper thing. They're just gonna go like, okay, well, how can I make the biggest scene? And if they're gonna do that, at least do it the right way. Don't dump your human remains on a random memorial of a guy who had nothing to do with what you're protesting against. Dump it on the airport.
It also comes that I'm pretty sure you've already heard, but have you heard of the Van Gogh painting that got vandalized because two protesters and activists threw tomato sauce at the painting?
Yeah.
Of course, the painting was put back on display because it was encased in a thin layer of glass, but still, they tried to
Yeah.
ruin a Van Gogh painting.
Like,
Uh,
have I ever told you when uh, where one of my biggest soft spots is when it comes to humanity?
is it artwork?
No, it's old things, ancient things that are near
Ah,
forgotten and can't be replaced.
like the Van Gogh artwork.
Yeah. Like, dumping shit on that, that is bad, because the man who made it is dead. He can't make another. And if that gets damaged, we don't have a replacement.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you dump it on some current artist thing, that's fine. He can draw another one. But dump it on a dead artist thing that's just recently died, it's bad, but it's not as bad in my mind, because, you know, they're using current day things. There are still other people making similar stuff, because, I mean, honestly, there are way too many people nowadays doing this shit. There's so many people doing art nowadays that that artists are having trouble getting spotted, so they can't just be good, but that's another topic. And
Yeah.
like doing that shit, it feels to me on a similar level to like walking up to an ancient Roman cathedral that somehow managed to stand the test of time in pristine condition and then just knocking it over.
Or burning it down, yeah.
Or burning it down. Like, sure, we can rebuild it. It'll not be the same.
Yeah. Now, just notice, I agree with the message that they're preaching, though, that we're burning down the world, and we need to stop it. Like, in earlier episodes, I have preached about, hey, we're running out of phosphorus. That's true.
Oh, yeah.
What are alternatives? Well, how about this? Compost. Like, use human feces. Like, no joke there.
Yeah.
Use human and animal feces.
I believe that's
And compost it. Use ash as well. And slowly and surely, you'll get a fertile soil that comes out. A fertilizer that comes out. Organic fertilizer. Will it work just as good as synthetic fertilizers? Probably. Maybe, albeit maybe about 80% worse and less efficient, but still,
yeah.
that I'd say that's a wonderful trade-off for, 80% as efficient as a synthetic
80% as efficient and 80% worse are very different numbers.
Very different things. I should probably have worded it a bit different. I should probably have worded it just slightly different. Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, I meant the latter, not the former. 80% as good as synthetics. To me, that the morality there, it outweighs the efficiency of it.
Yeah.
When it comes to hunting, I want people to understand, yes, I hunt. Yes, I own a rifle. Yes, I go fishing. Yes, I own a fishing pole. I own 3 different ones, each for doing a different type of cast. One for fly fishing. One for deep fishing, as in lake water fishing. And one for river top fishing. Not fly fishing, but river top fishing. Now, I want people to understand I have a deep respect for animals. I do. There is at no point in my life that I've ever harmed an animal or put it through intense cruelty. Shooting something and harming it, I would say, are 2 different things.
Okay.
Killing something is not as bad as torturing something. If you're an animal abuser, you're scum. You deserve prison just along with humans. Like, if you're, like, assaulting humans and assaulting animals, you deserve the same punishment. And this is where my hypocrisy is about to show. Because killing an animal, to me, is not the same as killing a human. Because of what I do with said animal. I know of several people around me, several buddies of mine, who, let's just say, they're not the kind of hunters I enjoy, but I go hunting with them anyway, because whenever I go hunting, I go for meat. That's it. I have gone from freezer to freezer right now, and one buck that I shot last year, I still have venison in the freezer.
That's pretty good, actually.
Garwin, last, I believe, oh geez, what day was it? I said that I was out fishing.
Yeah,
Oh, wait.
I think it was Friday.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe. Yeah, it was Friday, excuse me. Yeah.
Yeah.
I caught,
which, by the way, guys, that's the reason why there was no episode last Saturday.
yeah,
We didn't plan good.
I mean, I probably should have said that, yeah, I'm going fishing this Friday, but it was kind of like a last minute thing. Like, they told me Thursday, and I'm like, yeah, I'll go with it.
Yeah. To be fair, I always plan to go like, let's record on Mondays, and then Monday comes around, and I'm like, and then it goes like, there's like 12 a.m. and I'm like, let's do tomorrow. Then that's
Yeah,
pizza.
exactly. But today, I just want to say I caught 2 trout.
I bet those are gonna be good.
Gutted them. Oh, they're already gone. They're already cooked.
That's
I don't.
Yeah, it was. Sorry, time.
I don't freeze fish.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I have a hard time comprehending time.
Yeah. I've been eating pretty good for this weekend. I've been enjoying myself.
I can imagine.
But just understand, I fish for food. I'm not going out to do catch and release.
Jay, you still there? Hello? Jay?
Sorry about that. I had a knock on my door.
Yeah. That's right.
But I just want to say, I'm not going fishing for catch and release. To me, that is cruel. Do I know that some people that do it? Yes. Am I going to actively stop them? No. Because that's wasted energy. That is not a hill I want to go and die on. I can go and die on any hill. I'm not going to choose one that I'm never going to change someone's mind on. And I know that those buddies of mine that do it, I'm never going to change their mind.
Yeah. Like whenever I go fishing, the only fish I ever release are the ones that I have no clue if these are even edible, or
Exactly.
if I have no clue, or if I just don't know how to prepare or cook them. Because by the time I find someone who can teach me and get them together, the fish gonna have gone bad.
Oh yeah. You can freeze it, but I wouldn't keep it any longer. I'm sorry. For me, when you freeze fish, you can't keep it longer than 20 days.
Yeah, you really can't. Like
For like actual red meat or white meat, you can freeze that, keep it in there for a year or two,
Yeah.
maybe 3 years,
Yeah, like-
and it'll still be just as good.
yeah, like meat, that'll stay good for a long fucking time. Though
Fish, I don't know what
the-
it is.
Though the one in my freezer is probably going bad. I keep meaning to go to my mother to go like, hey, how the fuck do I make shit out of this?
Oh, what is it?
I don't know. It's something I got from you know those Christmas celebrations you sometimes get at work where they give you a gift basket, it usually has a bunch of food in it and whatnot?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I got a random piece of meat in it that I don't even know what it is.
Okay, is it... After the podcast, we'll talk about this. I'll make
Yeah.
a mental note of it. We'll talk about it, and I might be able to
after the podcast,
help
I'll
you.
go get it and show you.
Oh yeah, definitely. Because if it's red meat or a white meat, I'll know what to do with it. If it's fish,
Yeah.
I'll probably say,
It's not
oh,
fish.
just
It's not fish.
okay. If it's not fish, if it's a white meat, literally, like you can just throw it on the grill. Honestly, just throw it on a grill or in a skillet. Get some butter and whiskey and just fry it like that. If nothing else, if it looks like chicken,
It's not chicken. I've seen.
Okay. Because if it was chicken, I'd say bread it and then fry it in some oil, and you can have some chicken right there.
Like it's a big piece of meat, so it's a big
Yeah.
animal.
Oh, if it's then that means it's probably either pork from a boar or possibly reindeer or just venison of some type. Which with that, that's gonna taste good because it's been seasoning for a bit. So
It's
you're
kind of
good.
real good. Like the only problem I have is I can't remember if I got it last Christmas or last Christmas.
Either way, it's still gonna be good if you've been freezing it.
Yeah.
Now, this is where we get to the problem. Because the point about this isn't fishing or hunting or gathering. The problem is farming. Because America's main export is food. Our main exports are textiles and food stuffs.
Just like Ukraine's was grain, wasn't it, before the war?
Yes.
Oh, is that why the bread is costing so much nowadays?
Yes. Literally some of the biggest exporters of grains in the world have kind of shut down somehow. Here in America, we have currently, I believe it is in the... hold on. How many food process... last I checked, it was 43 food processing plants. That means the places that we send our corn, our grains, our meats, all of our products that are sent to be weighed, packaged, and processed, as in make sure that there's nothing on it, there's no parasites, all that.
Yeah, like I remember
Burned
I remember
down or have shut down
Oh,
somehow.
Jesus. Like I remember a couple of years ago where when I was like living paycheck to paycheck because I was trying to save up basically absolutely every single piece of money I could. Like the way it goes is basically I put 100,000 in the bank every month, and then the rest goes to basically my shopping and taxes and all that shit. And if I don't count my shopping, it leaves me like 50 to 60,000 a month usually. That's Icelandic krona, by the way. That's about 120 krona to a dollar, or 140 depending on the situation in the market. But yeah, a couple of years ago, I was able to just go a whole month with nothing but on a bread, cheese, and some kind of meaty topping, and then some sauce. Put that on a sandwich grill, and that was basically my dinner for the entire month, and I'd still have money left over so that I could put for the rest. Nowadays, I got curious to see if I still could. I tried that like last month or so, don't remember which one, and no, I actually ran the money. I had to ask from the paycheck, so I actually had to move money over. That was the first time I had to do that this year.
Yeah. I just want to say that, like,
By the way, I don't recommend doing that. It's not healthy.
Oh, no, I wouldn't think so. But to our point of the topic of today,
Yeah.
with the whole problem with food and feeding the entire world, our topic is the morality versus efficiency of farming. As in our environment, our ecosystem, our world it's being destroyed by humanity.
Yeah.
Here's the problem that we face. Humanity is to blame. It is.
It really is hard, honestly.
If you disagree with that, shut the fuck up. Just shut up. I'm not here. I'm not here to argue it. I'm not here to debate it.
Yeah.
If you are saying that climate change doesn't exist, if you're trying to sit here and say, "Oh well, 5 years ago everyone was talking about global warming and that was proven wrong, and now we're seeing more and more cold happening in the world, so it's technically a state of global cooling," shut the hell up. Seriously.
Wait, when was
back
global
in the
warming proven wrong?
Oh, because I honestly have no freaking clue.
Because like if people are saying the world is cooling down, I'm sorry, but that's only what you are. Here on Iceland, like I've barely had snow in the last couple weeks, and I live on Iceland, and we're approaching Christmas.
We already have snow here in America. I do want to say that. We also had a hurricane, which isn't that, it isn't that strange. We have tornadoes in the Midwest, and for some freaking reason, we got down into the 40s last week here in Texas.
Yeah.
And now it's back in the 90s.
Like last week was the first time.
Makes no sense.
Was the first time I remember that we got to 2 or lower in the ever since summer, and that is unnatural. Like I live on Iceland.
Yeah.
Global warming.
Land of ice.
The world up here in the north is warming the fuck up.
Yeah. Here's the problem. This global warming isn't necessarily true. Climate change is true.
Yeah.
Because currently what we're seeing is a...
Well, I mean, global warming is true, it's just bad naming. Or bad
Yes. Because at the same time that we are going through global warming, we'll be warming up during the summers, and then literally immediately after, our temperature will continue to decline and continue to stay the same for a few months as the northern. Well, how do I say this? Let me restart this. Let me try and make a little bit more sense here.
Oh, come on.
As winter hits the northern hemisphere and the southern hemisphere, the problem we are facing is that currently the greenhouse effect is a blanket over our world. We used to think the greenhouse effect just caused heating. It doesn't. It also insulates the planet to keep us cold.
Well, it just paint the houses blue. I'm sorry, I had to.
I just lost the last brain cell I thought I had.
Yeah. But yeah, some people are dumb enough to think that.
Just understand, people, we have known about climate change, we've known about global warming, we've known about global cooling for the past century.
Yeah.
And environmentalists have literally been preaching on this for the past 5 decades now. For the past 50 years. We have been preaching about this.
Man, I don't know.
Trying to get people to listen.
Yeah,
but we've just been labeled hippies, tree huggers, or pussies.
Like, I remember a documentary about a scientist who went to the Arctic, dug really fucking far down, got an ice cube, someone sneezed on it, had to go get another one, then went back, and they checked the carbon or whatever the fuck it was that they were checking for, and found that, yeah, there was a lot less in the world back then.
Yeah. The problem that we're facing is that carbon emissions in the atmosphere, carbon stays up there. It's not going anywhere unless we recapture it. Is carbon bad for the environment? Yes and no. An excess of it? Yes. Too little of it? Yes. You need to find equilibrium, which the planet had. Pre-industrial revolution. Sadly, after said pre-industrial revolution, I just got a message from someone. Yes. Never mind. Post-industrial revolution, what we are facing is a massive incline in carbon, just littering our skies. You've heard of air pollution and smog, right? Smog is a literal layer of air surrounding an entity, if you will. Smog is nothing more than dust, soot, and smoke.
Yeah, I thought he was a dragon.
Oh, shut the fuck up. I'm as much of a freaking... I'm as much of a Tolkien fan as you, man. Come on. Get a better joke.
Oh, come on. The bad jokes are the best jokes.
Now, to continue with this, smog became a massive problem in London during the 1880s, 1860s era. It got so bad that the paintings done in that era portray that the pictures taken and the paintings taken, it portrays London as this place with gray skies, a brown river. The River Thames is brown, not blue like water. The sky is gray, not blue. Like, I'm sorry, that's not clouds, that's smog.
Yeah.
And if we could portray that back in the 1860s, imagine what it's like now. Like, you can go over there now and you'll see blue skies. You know why? Because England has went on to cleaner energies. So and so.
Yeah.
People might not like this, but the carbon emissions given by oil is much less than the carbon emissions by coal.
Yeah.
Because guess what coal is? It is literally pure carbon.
Yeah. Coal is just a rock of carbon. It's just a carbon rock that you're burning.
It is solidified carbon, yes.
Yeah.
Oil is an organic material. Like, people might not think of this, but oil is nothing more than fossilized, or, liquefied fossils of organic materials, such as plants, animals, and bones.
Yeah. Like,
it's why whenever we see...
It's technically... Technically, every time it's technically more, it's always being made, but same time, we're going through it faster than it's being made, yeah.
Yeah. It takes centuries for it to fully compress together. Can we do that synthetically? Yes, but it takes more power than what it creates.
Yeah.
So...
If we had to, we might be able to use on a nuclear power plant to make synthetic oil, but at that point, like, we're working backwards.
Yeah, exactly. Understand, nuclear energy... I want people to understand, stop demonizing it.
Yeah.
I know we've talked about this before, but nuclear energy, it is the future.
Yeah. Like, it isn't this green mutating goo that's gonna turn your crocodiles into Teenage Mutant crocodiles.
Exactly. That's if there's a meltdown, which, on average, I just want to say, nuclear meltdown is very, very rare, considering how many actual decades, it has been since, the last nuclear meltdown.
Also, people do realize there are nuclear power plants in Ukraine, and they're actively fighting around them.
Yes. Just understand, Chernobyl was a accident on human error.
Yeah.
To not update anything.
It was effectively the equivalent of someone making something really brand new, and then walking away, and then some other people come in, monkey about in there, and then like a couple decades or years later, the guy comes back and goes like, why are there spider webs everywhere? Why is this broken down? Why can't this no longer function? And oh look, it's exploding.
Exactly. And I want people to understand that the one that was in Japan that went into meltdown, that occurred for two reasons. One, there weren't any personnel in the building
Yeah.
or in there for a long period of time. That brings up the second point. I wonder why there was no one in the building. It's not like that area had just been through a fucking tsunami. It's not like the area wasn't freaking flooded and that a natural disaster just occurred,
Haha!
triggering a nuclear meltdown.
Yeah. Like, it's like, I will admit, I do love the fact that the two biggest nuclear failures in human history have been because of the two constants of the universe. One,
Yes, human
pure
error,
stupidity, and two,
natural
nature's wrath.
disasters. Yep.
Yeah. It's just, the two constants of the universe.
If I
Also,
remember
just to
correctly, it
realize
was
also-
Fukushima.
Yeah, something like that. Also, just realize, people, coal and oil, they've killed more than nuclear power has ever done. That's including the bombs.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Yeah.
I would. And just know, yes, I'm American. No, I am not proud of dropping the sun on Japan.
Yeah.
In this, I am not proud of that in the slightest. Do I think it was a necessity? Sadly, yes, I do.
Yeah. Like,
Because
it's a
no.
it's a big question for people out there. What is better? A prolonged war where millions of people shoot at each other for years upon years upon years, or a bomb that kills thousands? One kills a couple hundred million, one kills thousands and changes nations and wars for the foreseeable future. It's horrible. And the fact that they targeted a civilian area is questionable. Like, honestly, I would have preferred a military target, but like,
Notice
honestly,
they didn't go for the most heavily populated areas in Japan at the time,
yeah,
such as Japan's capital of Tokyo.
yeah. And as I was about to say, like, yes, you can criticize them for targeting a civilian center with that, but do realize almost every single war since the airplane was invented has involved bombing civilian centers. In every
Notice that the
single
Germans, I do want to say, although the Germans didn't use a nuclear device, they did bomb London, and they did go for civilian targets. Yeah. I do just want to point that out.
Yeah. And so
Like,
did
I'm not
basically
trying to
everyone
just
else.
I'm not trying to justify the United States means at all. It is an awful, horrible stain on our country, just like some things that happened back in the 1800s, just like some of the things that happened throughout the 1960s. However, by no means, I'm sorry, it's just like how Germany currently, me and Garwin have several German friends.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry to any Americans out there who, or Englishmen out there, shut the fuck up when it comes to Germans and quit like literally holding the Nazi thing over their head or the World War II thing or World War I thing over their heads. I'm sorry. These are the grandchildren and great-grandchildren of the people who did that. And those people are dead, if they're not already.
Yeah, like
They are
like,
soon to be dead.
Like you targeting them and blaming them for what they're doing is the exact same thing as people walking up to you and blaming you for slavery.
Exactly. Well, they can't really blame me. I'm just saying, they can't really blame me for that.
Hey, just realize.
I can't blame you.
It doesn't matter the color of your skin. Every single race in human history
Fair point.
took part in slavery. Was the longer
Fair
time
point.
ago? Yes.
Fair point. Fair point.
But everyone did.
Yeah.
Also, people do realize explaining and understanding something is not the same as excusing or justifying it.
Yes.
Just because we understand why something happens doesn't mean we like that it happened or that we
Yes.
agree for why it happened.
Yes.
It's just we understand what led to it.
Like I said, do I approve of dropping the bombs? No. Do I think it is better than the alternative? Yes. Do I think it is a awful stain on our country's history? Also yes. Just understand, people, that the whole thing with nuclear energy, nuclear power, nuclear warheads, and currently we are at the cusp of possibly nuclear Armageddon due to the United States and Russia getting into a pissing argument. Like, seriously,
The only hope I have in case that situation happens is that Iceland is so central between the two that it might be saved.
it
Unless
won't.
unless you know a nuke goes like bad and just falls.
Just know the United. Okay, I'm gonna make you terrified real quick. Just know the United States has lost 14, I believe, 14 nuclear warheads.
Oh, just about every country that has nukes has lost at least 3.
Yeah.
Like
No,
there's somewhere
we
out
say-
there in the world we have no clue where they are.
We say lost, as in we have no clue where they are. They gone. We have no idea where they are. They're off grid.
Yeah.
Some
Like we don't
Some,
know if
like, frickin-
we don't know if a terrorist organization bought it or if someone just forgot it in a warehouse somewhere and some man is gonna
Slavic frickin' some Slavic hick probably has it in his basement, has probably like the plutonium in his basement somewhere, and is currently like doing like horrible experiments with it.
I mean, to be fair, I don't know if it was a middle school or a high schooler made a nuke for their school science project. Got an
Are you
award for it.
serious?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah, they got an award
Holy
for it.
shit. Holy
Meanwhile,
shit.
the kid next door who made a clock is arrested.
Jesus. But understand,
humanity
nuclear
related.
power, when it is contained and when it is executed properly, like most things with humanity, when executed properly, it is a good thing.
Yeah.
It is much cleaner. And honestly, the nuclear waste we can do away with very effectively and eco-friendly.
Also, really easily.
Yeah. The problem is that a lot of people see nuclear energy as this awful, horrible poison for the environment
Yeah.
because radiation is poison. Ugh.
Honestly, I blame the cartoons we grew up with.
Yeah. Although
It's
those
like-
cartoons were
it's like-
hilarious.
yeah, they were hilarious, and I can't really blame the makers of the cartoons because like that was the understanding at the time.
Yeah.
It's just
now.
too bad they were wrong.
Now, just understand nuclear, just to end the whole nuclear thing, nuclear energy, I'm not saying nuclear energy good, green energy, fossil fuels bad. No. Although I do think that, that's not what I'm saying.
Yeah, like
Green energy is
do
bad
under-
for
do
different
understand
reasons.
people. The whole green energy situation, that depends completely upon the landscape you live around, whether it's even feasible.
Uh-huh.
Like the
Let's-
only reason Iceland can get away with being 98% green energy is because of our land. We are a volcanic melting pot. There's like 3 or 4 of these tectonic plates going under us. We have 150 volcanoes. Our land is hot as shit. There's lava everywhere. We have geysers all over the place. And we have some of the largest reserves of natural water per square kilometer in the world.
So, his country is able to get away with using a
Yeah.
frick ton of thermoelectric generators.
Yeah.
My country, on the other hand, our entire landmass in need for a electrical system. I'm sorry. Good luck fueling entire megacities such as New York and LA. I hate the two, but good luck powering the lights in those areas, along with the 5 major cities in Texas alone, the 3 that are in Florida, the 5 that are in California, the 3 that are in Illinois and Michigan, divided amongst the 2, the 2 that are in Ohio. Like, the list goes on and on. New England has about 7 major cities that need to be powered at all times.
Yeah.
Not to mention all of the smaller towns that only locals of that state or area of the country even know of.
Yeah.
Like, just understand, our country is massive. We require a massive amount of electricity to fuel said grid, said environment.
Like, to put it in perspective, that probably a lot of people should be able to understand. The difference between my country and Jay's, it's like someone went into a city builder where you can create the map itself in the landscape, chose the smallest map they could find and micromanaged the fuck out of the entire country to make it a paradise on Earth for green energy. And then some random bozo came about, made a new map, and then just random generated on the largest map they could find, and then the game just went, desert.
Like, understand, 20% of our country is a desert. I want to point this out. Only 20% is a desert. Is that desert useful? Very much so, yes.
Yeah.
Because in those deserts, guess what we put out there? Solar farms and wind farms.
Yeah.
Now, I just want to point out, the carbon footprint of creating said solar panels outweighs the energy output that they put out.
Yeah. Which is
On top of that, the materials required to make a solar panel, they're toxic materials. Solar panels are made of toxic minerals. One sec.
Like, personally, I do believe that, like, in a decade, maybe 2, maybe a century at absolute worst, we will have the technology and the materials and whatnot to make solar panels out of non-toxic materials and with barely any, of that footprint thing. But until then, you're making something that gives you, like, that saves you 5 carbon footprint. But to make it costs you 10.
Yeah. On top of that, the wind turbines. Just wondering, do you know, like, because you're not an electrician, I'm not expecting you to know this. Do you know how they're made?
No, but I have seen wind turbines out in Denmark. I can tell you right now, I can already see a flaw with them, though I don't understand or know how to explain it. Something about it doesn't
Makes
match
sense.
up. Yeah.
Okay. Did you know that there's an actual motor inside of it that helps the mill turn?
Yeah, I knew that. Like, I know for a fact that there's not enough wind to turn that fucking metal in that consistently.
Here's the thing. The amount of energy and the amount of power to make that windmill, like, actually turn and spin, it is also used to turn a rotor inside that in a rotary generator that creates power, which fuels said motor. And the amount of wind that actually helps push said turbines, it gives enough energy to produce a net positive energy output. So are windmills self-sufficient? Yes. Do you have to use constant frickin' maintenance on them? Yes! Dear God! You have to keep said rotors so well oiled and so well greased so that way you're not expelling any extra power. You have to have so much frickin' maintenance on those turbines. The cost of that alone. Not to mention the creation of said blades. I'm not talking about the actual motors or anything like that. I'm talking about the blades themselves. They're made out of steel and aluminum.
Like, I'm gonna tell you right now, Whose idea was to make them out of steel and aluminum? And
Some
why
engineers.
do we do that? Like,
Some engineer.
like it honestly feels like there was a better way to do this that probably wouldn't give as much energy, but it would have been a lot less maintenance heavy.
There probably was. Such as, if you look at a wooden windmill, what was the wooden windmill used for?
It was usually used to mill grain.
Yes.
Yeah, so originally
It
it's
was-
called a mill.
Yes. It was literally used simply to grind and process grains and foods. To make cornmeal, if you will.
Yeah.
As in, dry out your corn, put it down there, and mill it.
And sure, you need a donkey to get it started, but you know.
I mean, that's the same with the motor that's in the wind turbine itself.
Yeah, we
Uh,
just kicked out the ass and took in a mechanized dildo.
The yeah, the only physical green energy source that we have today that actually works, in my opinion, is the hydroelectric dam.
Hmm.
Just because of how much energy it takes. Okay, I see it as a net positive and a net negative. The solar panels are a complete net negative, and everyone says, oh, well, solar panels are so good. Like, I'm sorry, stop coming over them.
You're just gonna
Like,
make it
first
work
off-
worse.
Exactly, but like, seriously, understand, the panels themselves are toxic. On top of that, if they get damaged, it is cheaper and more cost efficient to replace the solar panel and buy a completely brand spanking new one than to repair the one you already have. And the one that you already have is already leaking toxic chemicals into the environment. Like, I'm sorry, if you throw it into the landfill, what's going to happen to it? All that toxic material, it's just gonna go out into the landfill, which isn't helping with our trash problem. Again, people understand green energy is great if you can actually use it efficiently. In places such as Wyoming, thermoelectricity, that is a good thing. Mount Hood, Mount St. Helens, areas where there's a lot of thermovolcanic activity, please use thermoelectric generators.
Also, not to mention, with how easy they are to take apart and how expensive materials are, any jackass with a truck and a screwdriver, or what's that thing you called that you put on a knot or bolt and turn?
Socket wrench.
Yeah, that. Anyone with any one of those tools can drive up to one of these things, take it apart, and steal the important bits and drive away and sell them. And
Yep.
that is an actual problem going on in the world.
Oh yeah. I'm just to say a few things. Here. Okay, Garwin, I know you've never worked construction. I believe we talked about that. You've never
Yeah.
worked like the trade. You've never worked construction.
Yeah.
Like
I've been around my father when I was like a child, when he was going out to do construction, and like got him tools and whatnot, but that's my most experience. I
Yeah.
have.
Speaking of getting tools, have you ever has your father ever like literally cursed out people for getting his tools stolen by some jackass?
No, he's never had his tools stolen.
I have had an entire tool chest, as in about $800 to $1,200 US dollars worth of tools stolen overnight. They cut through chains, a deadbolt, and a lock
Yeah.
to get into my tool chest.
Yeah. Like, people do understand. The only reason I can say my dad's never had this situation happen is because we're a very small land with a very small community. Crime is really fucking rare here. Does it happen?
Yeah.
Yes. Is that shame when it does? Yes. Does it happen every day or so? Probably not. I mean, maybe in Reykjavik, the capital, we have like hundreds and thousands of people, yes. But here in
I-
Akure, you only have 19,000 people here. Crime, like,
Yeah.
sure, minor crime, yeah, sure. Oh, that always happens. It's like kids going into
Yeah.
stores and taking out candy, sure. If you count
Yeah.
that crime statistics, every day. But something
So-
major that's like over $500, that's like once a week or so over here.
So
At most.
Garwin, here's my question to you. When it comes to morality,
Hmm.
what is the moral good? Going to clean energy or continuing on with what we have? What is the moral decision?
The moral decision? That's a more complicated answer, but the moral decision, if we have the time, slowly convert our power output to the more optimal and safer options that, don't destroy the environment, and slowly but surely replace them over the next decade or so. That would be the most moral thing, because the least amount of people and animals are harmed. And once it's been replaced, the carbon emission will slowly solve itself, more or less. We can then help it along I don't know if we already have a way to get that carbon out of the air, but we can then help it along by doing some of that shit.
Yeah. That would be carbon capturing.
Yeah, that. If we don't have the time to slowly but surely replace it, then I'm sorry to say we're gonna suffer in the short term and just replace it.
Yeah.
That way, the least amount of life is threatened, whether intelligent or not.
And I agree that we need infrastructure to be set down first. We need to actually have our power grids all across the world to be rearranged slowly to allow for said green energy.
Yeah.
Is solar bad? No. Is wind energy bad? No.
It's just our current methods of capturing those that are iffy.
Our current methods suck.
Yeah.
Can they get better? Yeah.
Yeah, like as
Let's
I
hope.
explained while you were answering the door before, like in a decade, maybe two, maybe a century at the worst, we'll have found some way to make more efficient solar panels, and we can start using those.
Oh yeah.
But until then, these solar panels are gonna have to be a science project that's experimented on.
Yeah. And to me, the moral decision, like as an American, we are comically seen as hoarders and greedy for oil. Yes, oil.
Yeah.
We're freaking oil goblins, apparently.
I'm gonna tell you right now, I used a bit too much oil in the kitchen yesterday, and I started hearing that song that you all shouted over Vietnam in the back of my mind.
Here comes the sun. Doo-doo-doo-doo. Here comes the sun.
What's that word? What's that song that everyone used in Vietnam on a
Oh, na 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 na. No.
No, it's a bit different. Like, it's usually in the Apache helicopters.
Yes, I know the one you're talking about. That was the one I was doing.
Was it Freedom something?
Unless you're talking about America.
No, not that
one.
It's like, it's the one you see in all the memes of Baltimore
Yes.
Gelt that goes, "Welcome to Estalia, gentlemen."
I know the one you're talking about, and I can't remember the words to the song because
I can't either, but I can hear the song in my mind just so well. But I have no clue how to do any of the sounds.
Call me un-American. I don't like it. I don't like the song.
Yeah, if I heard it as much as some people, I probably would like it either. But it's a cool ass meme song.
It's overused.
Yeah, that's
simply
why I said
because of the
meme
memes.
song.
Just understand, as an American, do I want to be classified as just someone who loves oil and will never want to get rid of oil? No. Do I want to get rid of oil? Of course. If you don't, I'm sorry. Get your head out of your ass. Simple as that. I'm sorry. Today is not really up for debate. We're not really debating anything. I'm just here to freaking tell y'all. I'm sorry. I walked outside. Currently, it is 68 degrees Fahrenheit. For those of you in using the incorrect method,
You mean the entire rest of the world?
Yes. Hold on, let me actually convert real quick.
Jay, America needs to ask yourself a question right now. Am I the one in the wrong, or is everyone else in the world the one in the wrong?
Okay, so for those of you using, the temperature that didn't get to the moon, that would be 20 degrees Celsius. For us, it is currently 68 degrees Fahrenheit. Tomorrow, it's supposed to be 90.
Yeah.
And 90 degrees Fahrenheit is 32 degrees for y'all.
Holy
So
crap,
for
that's
y'all,
hot.
that is 12 degrees. That is a 12-degree change in a day.
What is so
It's
hot
sad.
over there?
It's sad to me that that is normal. I'm sorry. That should not be considered normal in anyone's daily life.
It really is.
Anyone's. Now, understand, I can completely get over the fact that, half of, my generation are a bunch of idiots. Like, half of the millennial population are idiots who are radicals on one side or the other.
Yeah.
And the other half, they're silent about everything. And they refuse to speak up. Like, please, millennials, fellow millennials, speak. Say something. On top of that, the younger generation, I'm sorry for leaving y'all out. Garwin's generation, I'm very sorry. Gen Z, I don't see y'all as human yet.
Aw,
I still...
you. That means you
No,
still have hope.
I still don't see y'all as human yet. Understand.
That's actually a good thing. That means there's still hope for us.
Anyone born in 2000, I don't yet see as human. I see as...
I'm not born in the 2000s.
I know, but you're still Gen Z. I still see as a little crotch goblin that is still complaining and whining about essentially being born. And y'all are just now coming to the realization that life sucks. Everything sucks. The world sucks.
Hooray!
government sucks.
You made the discovery of the century.
Congratulations, you made the discovery that everyone that has ever lived on this planet knows, feels, and can sympathize with.
Yeah.
And we do sympathize, but sympathy is much different than blatantly favoring you because we sympathize with you.
Yeah.
Quit weaponizing your sympathy or your ignorance.
Yeah.
Go outside, get a job, stay in the job for, I don't know, maybe 6 months to a year, just around that time. The manager that you don't like will either be gone or will have moved on to bullying someone else. If you're actually getting bullied in the workplace, like, I'm sorry, stay with the job.
Finding another job is gonna be... Finding another job where you won't be bullied is gonna be harder than just waiting.
Finding a job in which you're not bullied in,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, that is a fantasy you're never gonna frickin' have.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Like, a lot of the jobs out there, they use this whole bullying thing on purpose for a
Weed
reason.
out.
It's
It's a weeding out process of weeding out the people who don't have tough skin.
Yeah, like it weeds out cunts that can't handle the fucking job. It weeds out assholes that bring everybody else at the workplace down and eventually ruins the goddamn business because no one wants to work there anymore.
Like, I'm sorry for, like, calling out Gen Z on this. My generation went through the same thing. My generation went through the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Where
every generation has gone through this, and up until right now, and many generations got it a lot worse than you did, because nowadays everything's recorded. You can get away with a lot less than the ones before you.
Gen X and the boomers, the baby boomers, they called us out all the time saying how we were lazy, we never got jobs, we never did anything with our lives.
Yeah.
And now we're doing it to you, Gen Z.
Yeah.
I'm sorry that we're doing it to you, but it's the truth, and it was the truth way back then as well.
Yeah.
We got jobs, but we never kept them because we were lazy.
Yeah, like
Because we're children.
That is the unfortunate thing. It's the truth with every young person in every generation.
We're lazy.
You're always lazy as shit. I was lazy. Jay was lazy. My father was lazy. Everyone was lazy when they first got a job. No one actually wanted to work. People were weeded out, and then eventually, as they matured, people got better.
Yeah.
It's just.
I mean,
it's becoming an adult.
It is. The problem that a lot of people face is literally just the realization of, oh, I have to put in effort. It's why I hated like gifted and talented programs in schools, or like special programs in schools for like talented kids, or the kids that were naturally gifted at understanding things that were presented to them in schools. And they were just lazy as shit and didn't do anything.
Yeah. Like, I'm gonna tell you right now, my biggest mistake in my schooling was the simple fact that I was too good at it. I didn't have to fucking study at all. I always finished everything I needed to do just at the end of class or beginning of class. Whenever I got homework, just finished it there. Didn't need to do it at home, you know. Why bother? I was just done. Why bother doing it at home when I can do this in 5 minutes when I get to class before the teacher even arrives? It comes to the exact same thing. And that was the biggest mistake I've ever accomplished, because like I didn't have any work ethic when I got into the workplace. Like literally none. Like I got into a job and I was like full 110% energy into the job for like 3-4 months, and then I just got completely burned out, and I just couldn't find a reason to get out of bed or leave or just leave the house anymore.
Yeah.
I had no work ethic, and that was a legitimate issue. I don't know if I've overcome it yet. I'll get back to you guys in a few months when I figure it out.
Yeah, to me, the reason why I'm currently in the current predicament that I'm in, such as like the whole thing with degenerative disc disease, I didn't even know I had it, and I didn't know it was getting this bad. I thought back pain was just normal for everyone, because I always like saw people like complaining about their backs. And then I got a herniated disc. The herniated disc is what did me in. It is like legitimately the thing that it got me to realize, oh, my back is fucked.
Yeah.
And I'm about to get a disc replacement. And guess what I'm more than likely gonna go do as a job? As soon as I get the replacement, I'm going to take 2 months to just get used to it. I'll still be in college, but I am looking as a nighttime position as a service electrician.
Yeah.
With the current company that is sponsoring me to go through college. Yeah. So just know. Yeah. My nights are gonna be taken from me. Yeah. Because I'm genuinely looking to get another job. I'm genuinely looking to get money. Understand, the reason why I got a herniation is because, and I quote, this is happening to both me and my pops. Like, both me and him, we are the exact same in this. I don't care about pain. I don't care if I'm tired. If my boss tells me to get something done, I will sacrifice my limbs. I will sacrifice my mind to get the job done. And I will get it done right. If I mess up, I don't care how long it will take me. I don't care if it's the end of the day. I have skipped lunch. I have not gone on a lunch break, and I have stayed hours after I was set to get off from work while working as an electrician to complete the task I was given.
Yeah, like me and Jay are very similar here. The only difference is, like, growing up, I did what I was told to a fault. So
Oh, yeah.
when I got to the workplace the first time, like I was like I was told to like like I got into a gardening situation, you know, because like I like being outside. It was nice.
Oh yeah.
And I was told to I don't know what the English word for the plant is, but it has this licorice smell to it.
Oh, anise, lavender.
Yeah, something like that. Like it has licorice smell to it, and if you get the juices on your skin and then it smells the sun, like stinks a bit.
Yeah, that's anise.
Yeah. I was told to like clear this area, and like they expected me to just work for the day, because like I had a weed whacker. It was really fun. But yeah, there was a gigantic area. They expected me to like work for the like majority of the day, take my lunch breaks and all that, and then go home. They found me a couple hours after work was done, still working there, because someone had forgot something at the station and came back, and they asked me, "What are you still doing here? How is your weed whacker still running?" It's like, "Oh, I had to refill it twice." Is work over? And it's like, "Yes, it's been over for 5 hours." Oh. And then after that, it's just like I didn't have an initiative. I barely do anymore. It's just how I grew up, honestly. Because I quickly learned that if I had an idea to do something, it was probably a stupid thing to do. So I just did as I was told. So like they had to make sure that someone always came to me and just said, "Hey, job's done. You can go home." And I was like, "Okay." Like I didn't question anything. Like even if like let's say. Like sure. Like if there was like it was like, shoo, last patch done. I just finished that up, done. But like if it was like a couple minutes left of work, or I wouldn't think about it. Like if it looked like it would take more than just a couple whacks, I just pack up and go home, because I was told to go home, and I just do what I was told. But yeah, like I also worked at my father's on a workplace for a year or so before, and a COVID kicked in, and they couldn't keep me on because, like, I was the 21st person. They could only have 10 people inside and 10 people outside, so I was getting paid for staying at home. I was gonna be let off at that point, COVID took a bit longer than I expected, but yeah. Like, I was working there for a while because I was in the inventory section. I tried to make sure that everything was where it was supposed to be, and anyone could just find anything, because I'm telling you right now, those guys could not inventory for shit. They could not organize jack shit. They could always find what they needed, because, they generally had an idea of where everything was, but it's just, why is this pipe over here with the wood?
Yeah.
So yeah, I was working with that. And I can tell you, there were many occasions where I was getting something, and I tripped something up and like fell on my head, and I got woozy for a second, but just ignored it and continued working. There was only one time I actually sat down for a couple seconds. It was when this whole giant ass aluminum or steel on a pipe section. I was moving around. I was moving around to get to a different position because it was kind of in the way. Now, it bumped another one of its kind, and it fell down onto my head, and I was on my ass for like a minute or just... What? Okay. And then I just continued working. Just that was probably a bad call on my part, because that could have been bad. Thankfully, it was the hollow part of it that fell on me, so I was okay. But it's just... If no one is there to supervise me and something actually injures me, I probably won't question it until something bad happens.
Yep, I'm the exact same way.
It's like now, like I occasionally get a pain in my chest near the center section every now and again. I get headaches, my neck hurts, my back goes just But I just go through my day going, probably normal. Probably is, honestly, but
Honestly,
about that shit.
Growing up, I was the exact same way I am now. My pops, he used to tell me stories about how I would run headfirst into walls,
Yes, we did the same thing.
laugh about it, and pick myself up off
Yeah.
the ground, run away, charge at the wall again,
Oh.
bring my head down, bounce off of it, and do it all again.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why I'm a fucking dumbass these
Maybe.
days.
Like, I did the same thing, only I was crawling. I couldn't walk yet. And I think I was trying, and my mother says she thinks I was trying to find the doorway that I was sure was there somewhere. It was just, a couple feet to the left.
Jeez. We were dumb kids.
We really were. I loved climbing trees though. Like getting to the top of the pine trees, the ones that are easy to climb. Being there, just feeling the wind. And hoping that, this thin ass section at the top doesn't sway too much. And send me curling down. I've only fallen out of trees 3 times in my life. They haven't been too bad. Damn, we were idiots.
Oh, we were. Really were.
Yeah. And that does remind me, back to hunting. The entire point of this podcast.
Yeah. The entire point of this podcast was literally talking about like the morality of farming and all that.
Yeah. Maybe
Farming, okay, mega farming and the use of animals and farming animals instead of hunting them. Let me put it like this. Cattle would not survive in the wild.
You really wouldn't.
They would not.
Yeah.
And that is because it's not because we have domesticated them so far. No. It's because, one, they've been, well, actually, yes, it is because we've domesticated them so far from where they were. It is. Because they technically came from ox and other cattle, or in the genus. And currently, the bovine that we have, as in cows and bulls, they would not survive.
Yeah. It's the
They-
same with our sheep here on Iceland. We bred them to a point where their wool doesn't stop growing. It just
Yeah.
grows until they can't move anymore.
With cattle, I want to point this out. Cattle don't care.
Yeah.
They don't know. They don't care.
Yeah, they really don't. Like, there is a reason why when we take them to the slaughterhouse, the slaughter gun comes from the side that they don't see, takes them out when they turn a corner and no other animal can see. The main reason is you'd think, oh, okay, we're being nice, killing them instantly with no pain or no awareness. I'm sorry, but no. The reason is because fear tastes horrible in animals. When they're afraid, they tense up, so a chemical gets released in them, and it hurts the taste of the meat. Which is why we kill them without them being aware.
It also comes from that the animal rights activists were like, stop it with animal cruelty, and so we actually were like, you know what, let's actually make sure that they're not afraid or anything.
Yeah. I agree overall with the whole don't because my say pain, but I'm sorry to these activists, but I guarantee you, they have never once in their life even thought about what might be occurring in the natural wild where the predators are hunting other animals and how those animals die.
It's almost like wolves actually hunt in packs, and they will literally tear and terrorize the animals and go at their necks and bring them down, and will travel with them for miles, just hunting them.
I'm sorry, but if what animals do to other animals.
But then again,
in the wild,
we're human. We're enlightened. We're
Oh,
better. We should be better.
what animals go through in the wild, it puts anything we've ever put in any horror movie to fucking shame. Maybe so.
But that doesn't make it right.
You're gonna tell the wolf that?
Well, the wolf doesn't know any better.
Yeah.
Yes, I am gonna do this voice just to piss you off right now.
Yeah. Like
The wolf
funny-
doesn't know any better.
God, I just get so tired.
Oh,
I
yeah.
can feel my energy draining out of me. Just, it's like, I can understand how these people get away with their arguments. Because hearing that voice, it makes me so tired. I just want to walk away.
Uh-huh. Why do you think I do it? And that's how I hear every single person that does that.
Yeah.
It's just the whole yeah.
Yeah. Like, there is a little truth there. Just because a wolf horribly, horrendously mutilates their prey, doesn't mean we have to. And we don't. There's a reason. One of the main ones is it hurts the meat. It makes it taste bad. I can guarantee you, the fact that meat tastes bad when it's afraid, it hurts the market value of that type of meat for a while, which made the companies go, it's not selling as good. Let's figure out why. Then they found out why, did the other thing. I guarantee you that's what the companies did. They don't care about morals. Generally don't. That's a profit margin and what's legally allowed. And even then, they push it.
Yep.
Yeah. But we always try to make sure the animal isn't afraid and that it dies quickly and near painlessly. That is, I'm gonna tell you right now, it's probably the best kind of death in the animal kingdom you can find. And even for a human, it might be the best kind of death you can find. Like, there are a lot of ways to die in this world. And there is a reason why we say there are many things worse than death in this world. And a lot of them are how you die. Like, I'm gonna tell you right now, I'd rather be killed like a cow than be killed in a thousand other ways. It is.
Mm-hmm.
It is so blissfully quick, and I won't even know it.
But you
Sure.
should go to a vegan diet. Like, in terms of cruelty, vegan diets are so much better for you because then no animal has to be bred in captivity. They're no longer treated badly. Like, they're no longer being neglected. You no longer have all of the harmful antibiotics, all of the harmful chemicals that they feed and they inject into the animals just to make sure that they can be slaughtered and butchered so that way you can have your hamburger.
Why do we live in houses? Why do we live in such tight-knit communities? Why did we terraform the landscape to fit our needs? It's because living in nature fucking sucks. It really fucking sucks.
Speak for yourself. I actually enjoy camping.
Yes, I know. But
And I currently say that while living in a nice house.
yeah,
Yes.
but like, look at what you bring to camping.
Fishing pole.
Yeah.
A
Imagine going
hammock.
out into nature wearing nothing, absolutely naked, with no fucking tools whatsoever, not even able to comprehend picking up a rock to hit someone with.
I could do it.
You could. Would you prefer it over this life?
Would Joe Biden still be president?
Only for another 4 years.
Then I'd do it.
Okay. What about after his term is over?
Depends. Would Donald Trump be president?
I don't know. I
If
can't
he
see the
is,
future.
if he is, I'd do it.
What if Hillary was?
Hillary,
Yeah.
sign me the fuck up to going camping.
What if a human being was president?
Sign me the F up to going camping.
What if our new AI overlords was the president?
Things could get better.
Yeah, probably good. At least they'd go for efficiency.
Okay, people, please don't say that I'm unpatriotic. I love my country. Joe Biden, I don't agree with him. I don't like him. Donald Trump, I don't agree with him. I don't like him. I don't agree with half the yokels that go up there. They're just another face that's looking to become powerful. I'm sorry, no one actually cares about you as an American. No one cares about you as a person.
Yeah.
The only person that cares about you are the people who see you every single freaking day of your life. Everyone else is in it for their own selfish ambitions and reasons. Joe Biden doesn't actually care about any of us in the POC community. Do you know what he cares about? Votes. He cares about the power. He cares about keeping Kamala as vice president, who's actually kind of pulling the strings, although she's a freaking dumbass as well. I'm sorry. No one out there, including the people who are actively like being targeted by the media at the moment, like on both sides, and are blatantly being like, you know, labeled as a terrorist, equally like on the left or right. Like, doesn't matter where you are in the world. If the media hates someone, more than likely, that's the person who you should be voting for. That's the person who you should like. Because they're going against what the media likes. And what the media likes is whatever gives the media power over you.
Well, specifically, what the media likes is whatever the fuck gives them the most money. Which usually is whatever the fuck is worse for you.
Yep.
Which is sad,
So-
but you know, but it's also our own fault for looking at all the bad things, but we can't help it. It's bad things. We wanna know if it's coming for us.
Break the cycle, people. Seriously, break the cycle. I'm not telling y'all to wake up and get woke. No, like, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying break the cycle. Like, we already know what's happening.
You have
We already
nothing to lose but your chains.
Like, seriously. Honestly, I'm not one of them yokels on Wall Street saying invest in Bitcoin, invest in stocks, invest in Bitcoin, the stocks, Bitcoin, the stocks. I'm not telling y'all that. I'm saying cast aside all earthly possessions, go outside, strip naked, and live as a wild man. Because guess what? That's the best life you can have right there. Because you'll have nothing and you'll enjoy it. Jesus Christ, Klaus Schwab, you're a genius. By 2023, by 2030, you'll own nothing and enjoy it. Guess what? I don't want to own anything. Do you know why? Because what's the freaking point? I'm a nihilist. Like, what's the point? Like, BlackRock owns everything. The World Economic Forum owns everything. The government owns everything already. We're just too stupid to actually see it, and we're thinking, hey, we can fight back. Patriots, stock up on ammo. Go kill people if you want to. Go do the purge if you want to. Who's gonna stop you? The government? They're just gonna use you for more propaganda. You're not going to help your cause. You're not going to die as martyrs because the government is then going to pay the media to literally water down everything that your movement stood for, and they're going to brand you as terrorists. And then what they're going to do is then they're going to use this as an excuse to round up and hunt down any like-minded individuals. They're then going to slaughter you in the streets, just like the Nazis, just like the Soviets, just like the Chinese Communist Party, because you thought differently than the current administration. You thought differently than the current regime. People don't like opposite thinking. They like groupthink. Make 1984 fiction again. Yes?
Weren't you the one who wanted to live like a king and die like a commoner?
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought I was the one who wanted to live like a commoner and die like a king. Meanwhile, I'm here just... Can I bring my computer to the wild?
I want to die. Like, what do I have to say to make it any more clear? I just want to die.
I know. Like, you made it plenty clear, my man.
Oh,
Just,
dude.
you know, don't advocate for other people to go die with you, alright?
Oh no, I'm not asking anyone to go die for me. I'm like literally telling the Patriots to do what they want, because it won't matter. I'm telling the opposite, the nationalists, to go fuck off. I'm literally saying it doesn't matter what you do. The government already owns you. The government already controls you. The media controls you. And if you're not controlled by either of those two things, guess what you are controlled by? some yokel that you subscribe to on the internet. If you don't subscribe to some yokel on the internet, then it's some yokel at your local church or cultist meeting. If it's not one of those, then congratulations, you're like the rest of us, and you just, for some reason, believe that the god of everything is McDonald's or Burger King.
Yeah.
Go to Arby's, get yourself a beef sandwich, you'll be happy. I guess.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Me,
I wouldn't know.
I'm a realistic optimist. All I want is to be content in life. And
You're in the wrong world for that.
Hey, I don't need to be free to be content. As long as I think I'm free, I'm fine.
I would rather be actually free than think I'm free.
Yeah.
Even if
Yeah,
my
but-
mind creates a cage for me, I'd rather have my body be free.
But here's the question, like, let's say there's no, like, in Matrix scenario. You're actually in the world. You can do whatever the fuck you want. You do anything you'd ever wanted to do in life. But there were boundaries that you just never stumbled upon. Were you free? Or and did you that it didn't even matter if you didn't actually even notice. That's like, that feels like a philosophical thing that I don't understand myself. Like, there are gonna be people that bump into the boundaries and then, you know, bad things happen. Because humanity, there's too many of us.
I wouldn't say there's too many of us.
No, what I mean by there's too many of us is that because of the, you know, rules of statistics, if something can happen, humanity's
It
gonna
will
find a
happen.
way to do it, yeah.
Yeah. Murphy's Law.
Yeah.
If something can go wrong, it will go wrong.
Yeah.
If something can happen, it will happen.
Yeah.
So on and so
Yeah.
forth.
There's just that
Understand.
amount of people out there now.
People, if you're here for motivation, here, let me actually give it to you. The world's fucked. The world's screwed. Everything sucks. But Jesus, this world actually does suck. I can't think of any positive. Actually, no, I can. Screw you. You thought I'm not that deep of a nihilist. I'm not actually clinically depressed. I have a therapist that says I'm doing really good, and that's all I need to keep going in my life. Booyah kashaka. Boom. If you actually want to do something in this life, don't look at your screens. Like, seriously, turn off the television. Turn off the news. Turn off the media. Get off of social media. Get some, like, actually go out. Find a group of friends. It doesn't matter if it's at work. Doesn't matter where it is. Get yourself a group of friends. If it's online, cool. Offline, cool. Go to your local community. Like, go to your, like, I'm not talking your local Starbucks. That's not a community. Go to your community center. Go to your library. Go to a game workshop. And, like, find out how to freaking play Warhammer. I don't fucking know. Play D&D with some idiots. Like, get yourself a group of friends. Start there. Volunteer at your local, like, soup kitchens. Volunteer at the Salvation Army, the Red Cross. If there's a natural disaster in your area and you have the availability to do so, take some time off from work, even if it's unpaid time off. If it's paid time off, wonderful. If it's unpaid, well, still, go do it. Volunteer to actually help with relief efforts. It doesn't matter if you're the one who's actually out there wading through high waters in terms of hurricanes with flooding or a tsunami. It doesn't matter if there was just an earthquake or a tornado. Relief efforts are always welcome. Whether it be to actually go out and find the people and save them, or to save them from themselves in the long run, such as actually being a warm smile that they can see in the next few days or hours, depending on how long they're there. Giving them a nice warm meal that, sure, it might be a slop that's like hastily prepared, but It's something that they might not have had for several days, depending on how bad they've had it. On top of that, just understand, the world is big. It is a vast, massive entity. I mean, driving across Texas, it takes an entire day to drive from end to end of Texas. There are places in this world, it takes hours to get from one end of the country to the other. Here in America, it takes a week to drive across the entirety of the nation.
Yeah.
And that
Here on
says
Iceland,
something.
it takes, what, 12 hours, I think, to drive the entire circle of the island. If you
I
don't,
wish
if
I
you
could
don't
do
count the head of it.
I
But
wished I could
nothing
do that
Yeah.
with America,
Yeah.
but I can't. Understand, this world, I'm not bragging about my country being bigger than anyone else's. No. I'm saying the world is bigger. Hell, one of my bucket list items is to backpack Europe. Like literally get a bicycle, and backpack through Europe. I don't mean going to Paris and going to London and going to Berlin and all of the major cities. I mean, I want to go to the back roads of Europe, going to the hick cities of Europe and finding people. I want to find the world. I don't want to find myself. I already know who I am. I want to find the world. Not the city folk, not the country folk, humanity. You know, the people that just live life every day. And they're content with their lives. I want to do that through America as well. I want to do that in every single place I go. Not because I think that it's some great testament of what this life should be like. No. I think it's a testament of what humanity can be. Like I said before, if you want some motivation, if you want something to end on a good note, if you want to help the communities around you, you don't have to donate hundreds upon thousands of dollars. Go to your local nursery, like your local greenhouse nursery. Get yourself a tray of flowers, a tray of any plant that you desire. Get yourself a tree. Go out to a community garden and plant what you got. No plaque, nothing. If you have a sign, say, "Let this garden grow. Come and add something. Leave your mark." That right there, it speaks wonders. If someone tramples it, guess what? They're going to hell. If some Karen comes up and says you can't do it, well, continue doing it, and if they call the police, say there's no sign or law saying that you can't do that. Because what you're doing is you're actively helping the landscape and making something beautiful. Guess what? Watch the police try and arrest you. They're not going to. Because, I'm sorry, they don't get paid to arrest people for doing that. They get paid to get paid. They get paid for stopping people from actually harming other human beings. Whether that be traffic violations or common misdemeanors.
Just be careful about where you plant that tree. Make sure it's not private property.
Yeah, make sure that it's like a community area, like a local city park, and if anything, like if you want to get like confirmation that yes, you can do it, go to your local city officials and ask if there are community areas that you can do that. And guess what? Your city officials more than likely are going to be more than willing to let you know where you can and can't do it. The reason being is because it's technically free landscaping labor.
Yeah. Like get something right about humanity here. If they can get away with getting something for free, they will.
Yeah. Is that a bad thing?
Yeah.
Sometimes, yeah.
But is what you're doing a bad thing? No. Not in the slightest. Not to me, at least. Because whenever I go by, down the road, or am I on my bike or just walking a trail, and I see some flowers or a tree sapling that I can tell someone has planted, I just start beaming. My face lights up. I smile as wide as the sun. Because it shows someone cares more about life. And they're actually trying to do something. They're trying to put a little bit of green and good into the world. Again, people, I am a nihilist. My entire ideology is what's the point? I am a pessimist. However, I'm not telling you to give up. I'm not saying that there isn't a reason to go out and try. There's always a reason to do that. I might ask myself, what's the point? The point is, life is what you make of it. Completely. Whether this life or the next, life is what you make of it. It isn't about what John Smith down the street tells you your life is. It doesn't matter what some yokel on the television says your life should be. It shouldn't be about getting material gains. It shouldn't be about wealth, money, power. I think Grandpa Sycamore, and if you don't know who that is, look him up. I think Grandpa Sycamore said it best. You can't take it with you. Only thing you can take with you are the friends and memories you made. Do what you love to do.
Yeah. Like, I don't know what I am in this whole nihilist thing. I don't know what I actually believe, or what to even call it. I just know I believe something, and it's something.
Yep.
Yeah, like, and if you don't want to do something like that, maybe it feels too grandiose to you, or maybe it's like too big a step. Maybe you haven't reached that point yet. Maybe you're still just trying to get out the door. Maybe that's where you're at. You're having trouble just leaving the house.
If that's the case, here, I'm gonna tell it. Hold on, Darwin, if you don't mind me saying something. If you're having trouble getting outside, there's stuff inside that you can do. Like, I'm not trying to take a slight on anyone here. One of the best things that I learned, whenever I'm feeling bad or ashamed of myself, take a shower. Like, I'm being...
Yeah, like
I know it sounds rude.
I can't tell you the amount of times I've just been absolutely horrid. And then I just took a shower. Afterwards, I felt so good, and I realized, wait, I hadn't showered for a week. I thought, and the entire time, like every day of that week, I thought I'd just taken a shower the day before.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. But
Go ahead.
It is really good. But as I was about to say, like, let's say you're somewhere around, you have trouble getting outside. If you're like that, you probably aren't gonna be able to bring up the courage to go down to a local center and like help in a relief effort. Maybe there's someone else, but you still want to help. Well, there's ways to do that. Do you know how to bake? Make cookies. Give it to one of your neighbors. Do it in person or anonymously. Does not really matter. Just give it.
Just start a chain of something.
Do you not know how to bake? Go to the store and buy something, or get some cookies delivered. You can do that anonymously or something. You can get a chain started. It brings good to the world. And something to kind of counteract Jay here. The world may be fucked, but that doesn't mean your life has to be. Just because everything around you, in the big picture, everything is controlled. It does not mean that in the small things you have to be. or that you have to suffer for it.
That's
As I-
kind of my point, Garvin.
As I said before, all I want is to live in contentment. I just want to be content with my life.
Mhm.
And I've basically found that all I really need is like a little bit more money so I don't have to think about it. That's like the final step in living in complete contentment for me.
No. To close us off here, because I believe this episode is going to be coming out on the 29th, I believe.
Yeah.
Saturday the
29th.
29th? Yes, okay. So this is a special episode which is going to be going on for 2 hours. I just want to tell everyone to continue with this whole thing. I'm a pessimist. I always see the worst in things, but seeing the worst in things also means I have to see the best. Because if I see the worst in things, that doesn't mean that that the worst things outweigh the good things. It doesn't. Not in the slightest. To the contrary, I see the good and I see that way more than I see the bad. But I will see the bad first. What Garwin said about baking something for your neighbors, that is a perfect thing. Leave a note saying, like, pass it on. And who knows, maybe about a week later, you might find cookies on your doorstep. You might find a tray of biscuits just sitting right there.
Who knows? Maybe you've started a tradition.
Yeah.
Like,
And
if you don't want to do it every day, just mark it on a calendar, have the mark repeat, and do it yearly.
yeah, to me, that alone, that is something beautiful. And yes, you will see those ads online saying kindness, pass it on, or bravery, pass it on, or some thing like that. It doesn't do anything. It doesn't encourage you.
No.
But I'm being serious when I say this. If you're listening to this, look at your hands. Look at your fingernails. If you see dirt underneath them, good. Go get a pencil. Go get some tip, clean underneath your fingernails, then clip them. After that, if you still want something to do to make yourself feel a bit better, take a shower. And I don't mean just sitting underneath the shower water and just lightly rubbing your arms and chest and whatnot. No. I mean get some heavy grit soap. Like when I say grit soap, I mean heavy grit soap.
Rock
Grit
salt is pretty good.
Yep. And then actually use it to exfoliate your skin. Actually clean yourself. Wash your hair. I cannot tell you how good that feels.
Oh yeah.
To just feel clean and just feel productive. In the morning, I had this hammered into my soul. And to this day, I still do it. Make up your bed. Like, seriously. First thing that you do when you get out of bed, make it back up. The reason being is because of the mentality that you have after doing it. Because it's a task. It is a daily task that you have to do.
Yeah.
And if you see it as something on a to-do list, on a checklist that you do every day, and it's the first thing you're doing, guess what? As soon as you're out of bed, you're already productive. You're already ahead. You've already got something checked off of your to-do list. And that is something daily. Then after that, brushing teeth, taking medicines,
getting breakfast ready. It could be any number of things. Just start. And I know motivation is a huge problem, because I've had the problem where I just didn't want to get, I didn't want to get out of bed. I didn't want to move. I didn't want to do anything because I had no motivation. I was in the worst place mentally. I hadn't eaten in days. Like, I'm not kidding. Back in 2021, January of 2021, I got the worst news of my life. Things in that time happened in the worst possible moment of my life. My life came crashing down. I'm now sitting in my childhood closet, living with my parents after having a 6-month lease expire, after moving back to Texas, and all of this has been within a year and a half. And in that year and a half, I've had well over 70 therapy appointments that I go to weekly. Simply because I have depression caused by the stimuli around me. I didn't eat for 2 days after getting the worst news of my life. My life came crashing down, and I had no motivation. I didn't do anything except sit. I didn't watch TV. I wasn't even productive enough to watch TV. I just sat and did nothing. I think I slept a total of 18 hours in a day. I didn't eat. I hated myself. And then I got a knock on my door, and it's my family, because I reached out. And that was possibly the most productive thing I had done in a week, was reaching out to my family. And I'm going to tell you, if you are in need of motivation, if you are hurting inside, cry out. Reach out. For the love of God, please call out to anyone, to family, friends, your neighbor down the street who you don't even know yet. Cry out to anyone. Call the police. Someone. There's someone who's gonna care. And if none of them do, call out to us.
If no one else cares, at least we will try. And if your problem isn't come all the way that deep and you're more like me, if you find a spur of motivation and you do something, even if it's as simple as just stepping outside, don't stop. Don't take the time to think. Just continue. Take everything as it goes. Don't think about too far into the future. Just continue until the day is over. Then look back at what you've accomplished. And hopefully that'll give you motivation for tomorrow. If not, just keep repeating every time you do get an ounce of motivation. If you don't stop to think, you won't have time to convince yourself not to.
Like, like I said, cry out. Please. Everyone here on this planet is deserving of a chance. Everyone. I might think some people lose that chance after doing something, but everyone still deserves a chance at life.
There is a reason why our prison system isn't set up to punish, but but so that people don't repeat offenses.
Lead.
It's because people deserve a second chance. I don't know how it is in America, but that's at least how it's set up here.
It's set up really bad here. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. Like,
But that's a
topic for another day.
Everyone understand. As someone I try not to bring things like this up. Back in 2021, not January, but this was later on in the year. This was around August. I got a call from a friend of mine who was about to make the dumbest decision of his life. And the call I got from him, let's just say, he scared me. I was in the middle of a game of League of Legends, actually. I dropped the mouse. I immediately ran for my PC, got in my car, and I started speeding my way to him. When I got there, police were already on the scene because they heard shots. I told them my relationship to him, and I saw the most gruesome thing I had ever seen. My buddy took his life because he had just gotten fired. Because he had started to become sloppy in his work. This was because of a divorce he was going through. And he was fighting for custody of his child. Custody got revoked. And he had no reason to live anymore. Because he couldn't see his child. There's not a day I don't wish I couldn't still see him or talk to him. I wished I could have gotten there sooner. And I have to tell myself every day, there is nothing I could have done differently. My friend made a decision, albeit the dumbest decision he could have made. And it is the dumbest decision you can make. Because he said, to him, he had lost everything that mattered. He made a call asking someone to talk. And while talking, he made a bad decision. He hung up and he concluded that bad decision with an action. I wished I could see him. I wished I could talk to him. And as I said, there's not a day that goes by I wished I didn't do things differently. That I didn't speed up. I didn't floor it. That I didn't call the police as soon as he told me what was going on. Everyone, please understand. If you are going through a bad time, cry out. Cry out. Just please cry out. There's always someone on this planet who cares. Always.
You may not know them, you may not expect them, but there's always someone. But yeah, that yeah, that I think that's the episode. It's been beautiful having you all here today, alright everybody?
Yeah.
We'll see you beautiful bastards another time, yeah.
Sorry to bring the tone down.
It's fine. Sometimes we need one of these episodes.
To close us off, as I've repeatedly said, if you are going through a time where you cannot see you going on to tomorrow, before you say another word, before you fucking make the dumbest decision of your life, if you ever think of ending it, shut the fuck up. Tell the voice in your head that's telling you to do it to shut the fuck up. The thing that you have in your hand called a phone or a computer, get on it. And please cry out. Doesn't matter if it's a hotline, doesn't matter if it's the police, doesn't matter if it's the fire department, doesn't matter if it's your father, your mother, your estranged uncle that you haven't talked to in a decade. It doesn't matter who it is. Cry out. And if they don't care, find someone who will. Because they are out there. Someone cares deeply for every human life on this planet. And by God, that might as well be me at this point. Cry out. Please. Cry out.